Hi, today we're going over section 5.6, which is the cosine law. So this is a law we often use if we can't use sine law and we don't have a 90-degree angle. So just like the law of sine, this is used when we don't have a right angle triangle. Now the formula for this given on your formula sheet is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cos of angle C. But we can rewrite this for any real side. So if, for example, I wanted to solve for A, then it would be a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of A. So whatever we're solving for goes at the very beginning and very end, and then the other sides fill up the other values. So I could also solve for side B by going b squared is equal to a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cos of B. Now to use cosine law, we need to either know two sides and the angle between them. So for example, if I knew this side, and this angle, I could then use it to solve for this side here. Alternatively, if we know all three sides, we could use it to solve for any angle in our triangle. So we'll start using this. So first example, we're given triangle ABC. We want to solve for side length C. So first thing I would do is label my sides. And then we can see that we have two sides and an angle between them. So we can use sine law. So we're solving for side C. So I'd have C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos of C. So we'll start filling our values in. So we've got 15 squared plus 27 squared minus 2 times 15 times 27 cos of 28 degrees. So we'll go through and simplify this. So c squared is equal to 15 squared is 225. 27 squared is 729. And then negative 2 times 15 times 27 times cos of 28 gives us negative 715. We'll combine those together. So we have c squared is equal to 239. We will then take the square root of both sides, and we get c is equal to 15.5. So using cosine law to solve for a side isn't bad. We just need to make sure our equation is arranged correctly and then substitute in and follow BEDMAS to solve. So we'll do it. Another example, this one we will draw out our triangle. So we have triangle XYZ. Now we're given X is 50. So this side here is 50. Y is 38. So this is 38. And Z is 58. We want to solve for all angles. We have all three sides, so we can use cosine law to solve for an angle. It doesn't matter which one we start with. I, however, am going to choose to solve for angle X first. So because I'm solving for angle X, I need X at the beginning of my equation. So I've got X squared is equal to Y squared plus Z squared minus 2YZ cos of angle X. Now we are going to be solving for this angle, so we have to gradually move everything out to the other side. So I would subtract Y squared and Z squared from both sides. So that gives us X squared minus Y squared minus z squared is equal to negative 2yz cos of x. We still want to get cos x on its own though, so I would divide both sides by negative 2yz. So that gives us x squared minus y squared minus z squared over negative 2yz is equal to cos of x. At this point, we'll substitute our values in. So we have 50 squared minus 38 squared minus 58 squared being divided by negative 2 times our y value of 38 times our z of 58. And that's equal to cos of x. So that gives us 0.5236 is equal to cos x. So if we go cos negative 1 of 0.5236 is equal to x, that gives us 58 degrees. So we now have one angle. We still need to get power 2. As you may have noticed, to find an angle using cosine law, it takes a lot of work. So if we can use something else, we would probably use it to get the next angle. So for example, if I want to solve for angle Z, I can now use sine law because I have two angles that are opposite each other. So if I'm solving for angle Z, I'd have sine of Z over Z is equal to sine of X over X. So that gives me sine Z is equal to side length Z sine of angle X over side length X. So that gives me sine of Z is equal to side length Z, which is 58, sine of angle X, which is also 58, divided by side length X, which is 50. So that gives us sine of Z is equal to 0.9837. We've got Z is equal to sine negative 1 of that. Which gives us 80 degrees. Now to get our last angle, we can simply go 180 minus over two angles. And that gives us 48 degrees. Oops, sorry, I wrote down the wrong angle for a second. So I'll have to fix that. So that was 180 minus 80 minus 58. And that gives us 42 degrees. Okay, so looking at these, which law would you use to find X? This one, I have all three sides, so that tells me I would use cosine. This one, I have an angle in its opposite side, And I have a side opposite what I'm solving for, so I would use sine. This one, I have an angle opposite what I'm solving for, and technically I also know this angle because 180 minus these two gives me this, which gives me an angle in its opposite side, so I would use sine law. This one, I have two sides with the angle between them, so I would use cosine law. Okay, so practice for this section starts on page 495.